on that, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Remember, the more likes, the more subscribers, the more that we can kind of do this content and really give back to the community. So if you guys are going to get us to 1,000 subscribers, again, we'll do a giveaway. And I'll let you guys know once we get to that 1,000 mark what that giveaway will be. So let's make sure to get this channel out there. Merchandise as well, donation link if you guys are inclined to do so. Not saying that you have to, but if you feel like you messed with us heavy, those are always options available for you. But the one thing I do ask for is, of course, a subscribe to this channel. Now let's move on to the final story of tonight's kind of topic, live stream, and I think that's this Karl Anthony Towns situation. And it all started with a little hack of the Twitter sphere. So I will read this article and then we'll kind of get into it. So Minnesota Timberwolves star Karl Anthony Towns claimed that he was a victim of a hacking on Twitter recently. Towns' account liked a tweet with a free cat in the text. Towns indicated that he did not like the tweet and that his account had been hacked. Towns said, "Sorry to Wolves fans, I ain't want to cause no hysteria or anything like that, but just know I am very happy. I know we're on a skid, so it came at the worst possible times. That the little hacking, I'm excited to hopefully build up more years here, not just this year." Despite the Wolves' struggles throughout his NBA tenure, Towns has never expressed his desire to leave the team. Minnesota got off to a good start this season, but he has had some struggles last week. Towns acknowledged that this and said the team has worked to keep it from becoming a full slide like in years past. "We have come together and we've really kept the team together and the camaraderie and the energy and the moral up," Towns said. Towns publicly commits on remaining on Minnesota, having dissuaded other NBA teams from closely monitoring his situation. The belief around the league is that Towns will eventually get frustrated with the lack of playoff appearance and will ask for a trade. All right. We've just read that. Us as Celtics fans, we're salivating at the mouth to see that Karl Anthony Towns is requesting a trade. I think a lot of teams are.
Yeah.
I've called him out before in the past, just due to the fact that I've really been frustrated with his commitment to getting better in the game. I understand he's been dealing with some stuff, COVID, his mom's death. I know there's a lot of stuff that he's been dealing with, but at the end of the day, he still hasn't progressed the way that I would like him to. And Jimmy Butler kind of showed it to us a couple years back. So with that being said, if you are an NBA team and you're looking for trading pieces and you're looking to see how you can build your team or how you can improve it, do you get Karl Anthony Towns?
Sorry, I got too excited. All right, wait, quick. One thing. Just wanted, because it's topical before we move too far. The mayor of New York City did just say they're not going to change the rules on the COVID vaccine just now. All right, moving on. Karl Anthony Towns, man. I'm going to make a mean comment, but I don't mean it to be like mean-spirited. I'm just going to say it because I genuinely feel this way. Whoever trades for him, I think this is kind of like the lottery of what team is going to give up way too much and be pretty disappointed like almost instantly with what they get back.
Okay.
This dude, okay? Cat is a really talented guy, okay? And I always like to start that way because people get really caught up in the talent part of Cat. They get really caught up in how talented his skill set is, what kind of player he is. He's a special type of athlete, and he can do crazy things. He's probably, where would he be in like the greatest 3-point shooting centers of all time? Is he up there? Is he number one?
Top 30?
No? Oh, he's a top shooter, like a center. He's
he's up there.
He's one of like the maybe 5 greatest 3-point shooting centers to ever play NBA basketball. That being said, Karl Anthony Towns has never, ever taken a leap in his career. He never has taken a leap. There has been miniature steps forward, and then there has been steps backwards. And then there's been a bigger step forward, and then another couple small steps backwards. It's always that. It always has been that. And time after time after time, it has been proven. And this is, you can say whatever you will about his personal life stuff. Like, it's terrible, right? Everybody feels bad for him. But let's move on and just look at basketball, right? He has never done what it takes to be a true winning basketball player in the NBA. And we cannot pretend like he hasn't been in the league for, 7 years now? 6 years? Is it 6 seasons?
Like, I think he got in the league at what? Yes,
2013, 2014?
2015, or something like that.
2015, 16, I think.
Yeah, regardless, like this dude has been in the league too much to pretend like you're getting Anthony Davis. Like Anthony Davis, where the Lakers traded for Anthony Davis versus where Cat is now, right?
Yep.
What's the comparison between those guys? Like you're talking a dramatic leap in quality in pretty much every aspect of basketball. So I do find it really interesting that teams are still so infatuated with him. Like that's what I meant by my initial mean comment is like somebody is going to give up a bag worthy of an Anthony Davis for this guy, and they're going to instantly realize that he is not Anthony Davis. He's not Anthony Davis. He's just not.
I disagree.
That being said, he is like he's super skilled, but I think like, and maybe this is just how much I weigh the Jimmy Butler incident, okay? Because I think like that situation is, it speaks numbers to the negativity in that Wolves locker room, right? And the difference in opinion of what they wanted to do with their careers. That really truly means something because we're seeing that right now with the Philadelphia 76ers. It's very, very extreme comparison, but it's the same exact thing. You have a guy in Joel Embiid who wants to win basketball games and get better. And you have a guy in Ben Simmons who does not necessarily want to do that. If you were to trade the whole bag to get Cat to play with your star player, you're going to run into a very similar situation, in my opinion, where you see this guy that we traded everything to get him a co-star, a partner where we can take him to the next level. And now this guy, we got him, and he just doesn't have the mentality to push forward to that, in my opinion. But you guys have the floor. I'm excited to hear your differing opinions. I think I'm going to be on an island this one, but that's okay.
No, I agree of what you're saying, as in, it's a drop in quality compared to Anthony, right? Anthony Davis. But I disagree with teams giving up a big package like Anthony Davis. I honestly can't see any team giving up all those assets for Karl Anthony Towns. It's like night and day. Like people see, he was never putting up Anthony Davis numbers. He was never dominating in the paint. He doesn't have the motor, first of all, of Anthony Davis.
It's not even remote. It's not even remotely close.
Yeah, it's not remotely close. And for two, he comes with a lot of celebrity baggage with Jordan Woods and that whole cart, that whole, even though they're not friends anymore, but it's still relatable. A lot of teams don't want that. You know what I'm saying? He seems like he's more interested in GQ sports and doing all this other stuff than, being the guy of the team and being the voice. It seems like Anthony Edwards is the guy of the team.
All right, hold on. I'm sorry to take the floor back from you. And this is maybe the thing that frustrates me the most about Cat. Maybe the most. How often has this guy been on a team that actually had some promise in his career? It's been a couple times.
Yeah.
And the times that it's happened, how quickly, dude, there's no way this is a hack. No way.
No, hell no. It could be a hack.
That's the most cliche, nonsense excuse anybody says nowadays.
Yeah.
That being said, he's probably drunk, whatever it was, and he posted it. All that considered, anytime this guy is on a team that has some promise, right? Whether it's Jimmy Butler and Tibbs and they're trying to play and, play hard defense and win games, whether it's he has this young stud, Anthony Edwards, who genuinely has like superstar potential. Like not enough people are talking about how good Anthony Edwards is. That being said, he also has a coach that's pretty solid. Like they've been a much better team since Chris Finch has been their coach. This all goes to show you where Towns is as a basketball player with a desire to win. He's on a team that finally has hope. They have a good player to put with him and a good coach, kind of, we think. And there's been spurts of like, wow, this Wolves team kind of has some talent. And then it takes 2 weeks into the season to have a free Cat. Dude, I would free him in an instant if I was Minnesota. I would say, okay, you don't want to be here. Anthony Edwards is better than you already. He's already better than you. I'll go get a guy that wants to play basketball with Anthony Edwards right now for Karl Anthony Towns.
I would trade D'Lo.
Oh my God, I'd give D'Lo away. Jeez,
Yeah. They could
Louise,
really get something nice for him and D'Lo together. They
they
could
really could.
get like I don't know if James will want to
The
go
the
to
problem with
Minnesota,
that is
but
the contracts are so hard. They're
yeah,
so
the
hard.
contracts, and it's like our
D'Lo's
players.
contract is so big for how
Yeah,
bad he
it's
is.
fat. Yeah, he's making like what 33, 34 million
Yeah, it's just
dollars.
it's probably one of like the 5 worst contracts in the league. It's
Yeah,
really, really terrible.
it's very terrible. I agree. Like he's
And
just
I'll be super harsh. I don't even really like Cat's contract all that much. I know he's a max player. I get it. Most people think he's a max. I
Mhm.
I wouldn't I don't want a guy like I know the Knicks are always the team that gets talked about as like let's trade for Cat. Let's trade for Cat. That's been a rumor for a year and a half. The Kentucky thing, Tibbs, all of it. You can't look at the Knicks team and say this guy would fit in any stretch of the imagination, the mentality, the attitude, the desire. And I
no
would say
way.
that about a lot of teams in the league, man. There is not a lot of teams that like the Heat. Are you
Mhm.
kidding me? I mean, not only let's skip the Jimmy Butler connection, like they wouldn't do it anyway, but like
Yeah.
there's a ton of teams that this guy instantly wouldn't even have the work ethic to be on their squad. That's a pretty bad sign if you're a supermax player. That says something about I think your position in the league in terms of how great you really are. It says something. It's Ben Simmons. He's just better Ben Simmons with a better attitude than Ben Simmons. And he plays on a team with significantly less expectations. And
Yeah.
he's never played until now with a player that's probably better than him and younger than him.
And I don't
So,
think yeah.
who knows? This could be Ben Simmons' situation all over again if they let it sit out long enough. But it doesn't seem like he wants to let that happen. He wants to go somewhere and be mediocre in peace.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I just think too he's doing this because he knows he can get away with it. It's in the market of Minnesota, right? Like they're not Philly
I
fans.
really
Like it's
don't think
not
he can.
Philly.
I think that
He,
you have a dude like Anthony Edwards taking his side. They're already taking his side. I'm telling you, I don't even know how Minnesota fans feel right now. I'm just making this up. There's no
Mhm.
way they see that tweet and are like, "Yeah, Cat, you're right, dude. I feel bad for you, dude."
Yeah,
Nobody's
yeah.
saying that in Minnesota. It's like
Nobody.
not a soul in Minnesota is saying that for him.
No,
Go.
I'm
Yeah.
See you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, here's the
Yeah.
thing I'll say about Karl Anthony Towns, and I'll play devil's advocate. I think he's doing about the same numbers as Anthony Davis, and it's like you look at the stats from like
Oh,
you look at the
Really?
stats from the year, like when he's at the Pelicans, right? 25, 28. Obviously not there
it's not
yet.
just stats though. It's the like
Yeah.
look at what dude
Defense,
Anthony
throwing
Davis
passing.
took his team to the playoffs on his own and whooped the
He
Portland
had Drew Holiday.
Trailblazers.
Come on now, let's not
Yeah,
disrespect
but
Drew
it's not like
Holiday.
Drew Holiday's
But
like
Drew
a
Drew
Kyrie
Holiday is
Irving how he was
he's
in
an
his
NBA
prime.
champ, man. He's an NBA champ. You got to
5
put some
years
Yeah,
respect
but
on
later.
his
come on.
name.
But look who they had.
5 years later. That's 5
Yeah, and
years
look who
with
they
Giannis,
had.
Bernie.
Giannis, ripe Giannis.
But look
I'm
at
not trying to take
look at Minnesota right now. Like what they have D'Lo, who offensively good player, but
Anthony
defensively
Edwards is better than Drew Holiday, Bernie.
Yes.
no.
And the only
Jimmy
reason why they
Butler.
won too, the supporting cast they had
Jimmy
Bobby
Butler
Porter.
was better than Drew Holiday. Like we can't pretend like he's never played with anybody the level of Drew Holiday. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's played with multiple players that are of that level. Multiple. It's never ever been.
I think he's only played with it one
time.
time. He's only played with it one time, and that's Jimmy Butler.
And he
they got
ran him out of town.
and they got to the playoffs. That's all that mattered. He got to the playoffs. They did they didn't really do their thing. But
he got whooped, dude.
He just doesn't have that dog. He doesn't have that dog in him, man.
I mean,
like
Anthony Davis was a borderline MVP for 2
he
seasons.
was a dog, man. Even though he was injury prone.
Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis is a number 2, just like Karl Anthony Towns is a number 2. Both those guys are number 2. You can't tell me that AD. You can't tell me AD is a number 1, man. You can't. Not with the way that he played by himself without LeBron. He's not a number 1.
It's different. It's not even. We're comparing apples to oranges.
Wait, listen to this. If let's just say if they had Kyrie Irving on the Pelicans, Anthony Davis wouldn't be number 1. You wouldn't say that?
No, he wouldn't. He would not be number 1.
And if they had, let's just say let's see, a shooting guard. Let's just say Chris Middleton, and they had Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis as the big 3, and they were they had a good supporting cast. They somehow got some good talent around him, some vets. You wouldn't say Anthony Davis is the number one option? I think a lot of people would.
He's the number one option, but is he getting you a championship? Like he didn't even get close to the championship until he got with LeBron. Like let's keep it real. Let's call a spade a spade. He didn't get there until LeBron was there. Until LeBron.
Karl Anthony Towns hasn't even sniffed the playoffs without Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I'm just saying, like maybe he just needs a new change of scenery. West,
so that's no excuse. Change of scenery.
He's had 5 different teams of players around him, and it's never been anything worse or better than the bottom seed in the playoffs, and they got immediately eliminated. And if you go back and look at that, they literally only made it to the playoffs because there was a 3-way tie on the 8th seed, and they won by 1 point in a Denver game. That is not the same thing as Anthony Davis with Drew Holiday going to the playoffs as like a 6 seed and smashing Damian Lillard 4-0 in the first round. It's not the same thing. I don't understand how you could even compare the two. Karl Anthony Towns has never done anything. He's never done anything.
He hasn't won on that team.
Anything, Bernie. Anything.
And Anthony Davis didn't win either until he got to the Lakers. So you can't tell me.
He won a round in the playoffs.
He won a round. Whoop-de-doo. He won one. You win one round in the playoffs. Congrats. Now you get to lose to the Warriors. Congrats. That's just some semantic arguments to say that like Anthony Davis just one-upped. It's like saying that like you averaged like 29.9 points per game, but the other guy averaged 29.8 points per game. So the guy that averaged 29.9 is better. It's the same thing. Like, look, I'm not saying that I'm not saying Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis. Karl Anthony Towns is at the same level, but I'm saying they were in similar situations. Anthony Towns staying in Minnesota for all these years, obviously will
never learning to play defense ever in his whole career. Never.
Yeah,
Anthony Davis was borderline defensive player of the year in New Orleans, and he scored 30 points a game.
And that's
Karl Anthony Towns has never scored 30 or been good on defense. So
he's a better jump shooter. He can get you 20 on jump shots alone.
This is my thing. This is my one thing. Now it's become an Anthony Davis versus Karl Anthony Towns, which honestly, Bernie, I'll be straight up with you. I wouldn't have traded the amount of stuff they gave for Anthony Davis when they did. I wouldn't have. I thought it was way too much.
I thought so too.
I mean, you could say it's too much, but they won a championship.
Sure, but now what are you arguing? You're arguing Cat over him, and now you're going back to Anthony Davis being a good trade. What's your point? You're going back and forth.
What do you mean? What do you mean going back and forth? I'm just saying that like apparently it was a good trade. You trade away Anthony Davis. You trade away the farm to get Anthony Davis, and you win a championship.
So you're saying Karl Anthony Towns right now, bro, right now, put him on a similar team comparison to the Lakers, right? Let's say there's one great star.
Put him on the same team.
Trade away.
Just replace him. Just replace Anthony Davis with Karl Anthony Towns now.
They're not winning.
Or do you really think that team is better, Bernie? Really, realistically?
I mean, they're at. I mean, any team with LeBron, like that's the thing. Any team with LeBron are going to be winning.
Yeah, we're talking Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony Davis.
I mean, obviously, I'm taking Anthony Davis over Towns, but I'm just saying the trajectory of it is similar. That's all I'm saying. It's the same trajectory of like
the team situation.
Well, it's the same. Like you've been playing balling out. He's averaging over 22 points a game throughout his career.
He's running away from it. He runs away anytime anything kind of good starts to go on.
He doesn't want to win.
With who?
Anthony Davis demanded a damn trade. Karl Anthony Towns hasn't
you just
demanded
brought
nothing.
up that playoff round. You just brought it up. It's like they were going up that season. It's not like they were going to get worse the next year. Like
the Pelicans?
No, the Wolves in the year they went to the playoffs. Like, we can't keep changing the timeline to suit this guy's narrative. That's my point with Karl Anthony Towns. That is my biggest point. It's the same freaking thing with Jason Tatum, except Jason Tatum is better than Karl Anthony Towns, one, and he's already had 10 times as much success as Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah. The problem with Karl Anthony Towns is that people always change the timeline for this guy. It's always, when's the team going to be good for him? Okay, we had a solid team with the Jimmy Butler. We went to the playoffs. Whether you think it was nothing to do with Jimmy Butler, who took the Heat to the finals, I don't know how that's possible. That being said, you instantly, your team is cratered again once this guy decides he doesn't want to work hard enough to keep a good coach and a good player with him. right? And then still, let's push the timeline back just a little bit more to suit how talented he is, how great he's going to be. He is a great player. Nobody's not saying he's a solid guy. Like, he can shoot better than any big in the league right now, borderline. I'm not even arguing the talent, even slightly. Like, number to number, he's genuinely not that far off of Anthony Davis. He's not, Bernie. No one's arguing that. The difference is all in the mentality. And if you look at the mentality of this guy in his tenure, you could even go so far as to get rid of the last 2 years completely. Completely, Bernie. So there's no negative, not as much negativity in his personal life. So we can't say anything about it. We'll wipe that from the record, right? Even before those 2 years, Bernie, there is a huge difference in drive to become a great player in Karl Anthony Towns in comparison to a lot of guys. If you look at Giannis, if you look at Anthony Davis, whether you like him or not, there is a constant push to be better. And when have we ever seen it? When? The defense has to matter. It has to. He could shoot threes the minute he came into the league. He could score 25 the minute he came into the league, and he did it. He's never gotten better. In fact, he's averaging 22. Like, Hassan Whiteside averaged 22 one season, dude. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this guy is not Anthony Davis. He's not.
No, he's hella not Anthony Davis.
Like the Celtics, Bernie, right now.
Okay, but here's the thing. I said that it's a similar trajectory, so you're changing my words, making a semantic argument again. It's like, dude, this guy, I'm saying it's the same trajectory. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that this guy is on the same level as Anthony Davis. I'm saying it's the same trajectory. You look at the years that he's played, averaging over 20 a game. That's the deal I'm talking about. Like, this to me,
we're talking the same thing.
But
the trajectory
they had nobody.
of getting better. Look
at the teams that he was on. Like, if you look at even just the 2017-18 year when he made this first All-Star, like, yeah, you have Jimmy Butler, you had Jamal Crawford, like, you had Shabazz Muhammad. I mean, look, here's the thing. I think that Karl Anthony Towns I think he wants out of there. I don't blame him. I would want out of there too.
He now wants out of there, finally, because he knows Anthony Edwards is the future.
I would do.
Look at Anthony Edwards. Look at him.
Bernie, I genuinely, I would love to see him go somewhere and prove me wrong. It's not even ill will. It's not. It's just, how can you say somebody is this good when their numbers are so empty for so many years? Like, I'll never understand that with some players in the league, how much respect they get. You can't just put up empty calories night after night and everybody's going to pretend like you're on this upward trajectory your whole career. Sure, bro. Why is nobody saying that about Colin Sexton? Why is nobody saying he's the next Steph Curry? Do you know why? It's because the mentality. It's because there's a difference in getting better every season that numbers don't speak only to fact, right? The number alone of his averaging a certain amount of points doesn't change how bad they are every year. LeBron James, I know it's a bad comparison because he might be the greatest player of all time. He played with Boobie Gibson and Antoine Jameson, who was 45 years old, right? He went to the NBA Finals with that team, Bernie. Guess what? He did it again, too, right? You went to the Eastern Conference Finals with that team.
But he's not. I'm not saying Karl Anthony Towns is a generational talent. Like, LeBron is generational. Anthony Davis is a great talent. True. So that's my argument. And then, we go to the Colin Sexton. He's digressed from the years past. Right now he's averaging, I know that the points don't matter as much to me. It's the assists. 1.9 assists a game. I mean, that's the thing with Colin Sexton. Like, there's a drive to defensively. Yeah, he's great and all that, but he's not.
I would argue Karl Anthony Towns has been better in other years than he is now. I mean, I would say that's pretty sound. So how? Yeah, he has. What are we saying? You just said Colin Sexton's digressed. What's the difference? It's the same thing. He's been like everything, every single category. Karl Anthony Towns has been better 3 years ago than he is now. Every single category.
I just feel like Karl Anthony Towns feels like he has no pressure on him because of the market he's in Minnesota. He's not even talked about anymore. It's Anthony Edwards. He knows it. Like there's no need. If he really wanted to win that bad, he would have demanded a damn trade. He wouldn't be sitting there with no pressure and just getting 25, 10 every damn night.
If
That doesn't
Karl
matter.
Anthony Towns really wanted to win, he would have had some pride in these last bad teams he played for. Regardless if your team is bad, how many superstars, even stars, have we seen take a team that's not very good at, like, you guys know this firsthand. Isaiah Thomas, less than 6 years ago, elevated a terrible Celtics team to the late into the playoffs, right? Like, you can't, there's so many excuses for this guy, and I think
it is.
like Bernie,
and
that's the reason I
comparing
get
him
the
to
most
AD.
combative about him. I get so frustrated how many excuses everybody makes for Karl Anthony Towns. Like, it's the same situation that Ben Simmons is in, and I really don't mean to be insensitive, okay? I just want to start it off like that. I'm not saying this to hurt anybody's feelings, okay? We cannot constantly be hard on one guy for one reason and not do it to the other guy because we feel bad for him, right? You can't do that. It's not fair. And I'm not trying to come to Ben Simmons' defense. I'm just saying there's no way that Cat wouldn't be treated the exact same way as Ben Simmons for the other things about his game if he didn't play in Philly. That, to me, is factual. If he played in a market that cared about winning, nobody would care what he has to say now because he's never improved, ever.
Yeah,
he was a freak of nature in college, and he's a freak of nature in the NBA. That doesn't mean you ever got better or became a winning player. It's none of the above.
He to me, he's never really been a guy who come on. If he was really a winner like that, he would have demanded a trade after his third year. He would have been able to say, I want out of here.
I think
this is the same guy. This is the same guy. No, hold on, let me just talk. This is the same guy they were saying he's Anthony Davis level, like when he was at Kentucky. And then when he gets to the league, they're all over him. And then they're not even holding him accountable. They're not even holding him accountable. It's because the market he's in. That has a lot to do with it. And then, too, how you said feeling sorry for him for, yes, I understand that, stuff happens, but you can't do that. And then for someone else, you don't, right? Because he's not in that situation. That situation didn't happen to him. So it's like he's kind of like the guy who everybody just takes it easy on, Before the mother thing, though, like before all that stuff.
That's what I'm trying to say. 100% before that.
They were still taking it easy on him. But when he was in college, oh my God, they were saying this guy's a monster. He's gonna be Anthony Davis. He's gonna be all world. You had what's his name? The coach of Kentucky. He was coming out. This guy's gonna be all glory. He's John Calipari. This guy's gonna be all glory. He's gonna be all this guy. Come on, this guy has no motor. He could have been left. He has all the money now. He has a girlfriend. He's
big guy Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he's big guy. He's even bigger. Yeah, exactly. He's big guy Ben Simmons. That's what he is.
But he won't quit on your team. So I mean, what are we talking here?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Twice.
What do you mean?
Ben Simmons quit on his team. Like I don't see Karl Anthony Towns quitting.
Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have to quit. His team sucks because he's not good enough. That's the problem. Ben Simmons is on a good team. They have expectations of him. Nobody has any of Karl Anthony Towns.
Nobody. He's been at the same floor.
Like the way that people talk about Ben Simmons shooting, it's abysmal. It's abysmal. Karl Anthony Towns is that level of defender. He's a turnstile. You are guaranteed going to get a bucket on Karl Anthony Towns. Yep. And that has been true since he walked into the league, Bernie. You cannot just look at shooting and say he can't shoot, shouldn't be in the league. Guess what? Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play defense ever. He's
not a
borderline bad as Enes Kanter on defense. He's not that bad, but he's close. He's close. But
nah, man,
I feel like that was the most heated we've ever gotten.
Respectfully disagree. Respectfully disagree.
But I honestly at this point I'm rooting for him to go to a different team. Just to see. I have to know. I have to know. I think I know, because whether you think he hasn't quit on his team or not, Bernie, I would strongly disagree. I think if you're never on a good team, and the only times you've ever kind of been on a good team, the guy gets run out of town or you instantly ask for a trade, that sounds like quitting on your team both ways. You did it both ways. So what's worse, Ben Simmons just doing it hard one time, or him screwing the team six ways from Sunday?
And at least Ben is saying he doesn't want to be there. You got this guy saying, "Oh, I got hacked on my Twitter." You know how hard it is. Yeah, you know how hard it is probably to hack in his Twitter.
Well, same thing with Ben Simmons. I mean, we could say the same thing about Ben Simmons.
Vocal. Ben Simmons is vocal. He
ain't vocal. What are you talking about? The dude literally won't talk to the team. He'll just literally say, "Yo, get away from me." He won't even talk to them. What you mean?
Of course, because he already said
I'm not defending Ben Simmons.
No,
I'm just comparing the two.
Yeah, he already said he doesn't want to play for Philly. He already said it. He wants to play for a team in LA. That's why. So
he didn't say that. He didn't say that. His agent said that. His agent. He had a spokesperson like Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. It's like he had a spokesperson for him. It's like, what are we talking about now? But you know what I
mean? He basically told Rich to tell everybody.
Simmons.
He told Rich to tell that to all the media. He told Rich. Because Rich has more.
Sure, no, it was his words, but Ben Simmons, he genuinely spoken publicly. But I'm genuinely not trying to say let's feel bad for Ben Simmons. That's not what I mean. If anything, I'm more saying we're gonna treat Ben Simmons that way. Let's keep the same energy. It's the same exact nonsense. It's the same exact nonsense.
He's just a better player.
Except here's the difference, and I'm gonna really rustle some feathers here. Okay. Guess what, guys? I think Ben Simmons is better than Karl Anthony Towns. Not right now. At this exact second, not right now. But at their peak of what they've been in the NBA in their careers, Ben Simmons was a better player at his peak than Karl Anthony Towns. They're both young guys, long term.
Same age.
Yeah, they're both young.
Right?
Karl Anthony Towns genuinely it has all the pieces to be 10 times better than Ben Simmons, in my opinion. The difference is, I don't think either of them want to do it. Either of them.
They have the money already. They have the money. They don't care about winning, man.
And Bernie, you're gonna get all over Ben Simmons for this FaZe Clan stuff. Where's that energy for Karl Anthony Towns?
Yeah, he be streaming too, man.
What is that?
I feel the same way, man.
You know the difference? You know the difference though? Ben Simmons can't stream because he's on a good team. Karl Anthony Towns can stream 7 days a week whenever he's free because they lose and get their breaks beaten off every other night, and he's free with nice rested knees from his lack of defense. He's great to go on the stream, and nobody cares about that, right? Because guess what? None of his games mattered anyway. That's the difference. Nobody cares about him.
Yeah. But we're talking about a guy that's supposed to be compared to LeBron and Magic to a guy that's supposed to be Anthony Davis.
Neither of them are there. Neither of them.
They're
both long
this guy
shots.
To AD. I think they compared his ass to Charles Barkley.
I mean, dude, they compared Karl Anthony. People still do. Yeah. People still think he's that guy. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Come on.
Bernie, as a second or third guy on a good team, I genuinely think they could probably win a championship, right? I would even go so far as to say like a Bosch type role is probably what he should be. Like the third guy. He's just kind of like he's there with, or I would actually say more like Kevin Love, maybe a little bit more is what I mean. Bosch was a better defender, but you get a 17 to 20 a night guaranteed from this guy.
No pressure.
He's there. He's there. He's going to get you buckets. Like, sure, that would work. I agree with you. I do think it would. There is definitely a level of Karl Anthony Towns is still like this special talent prospect. Like, oh my gosh, what is this guy? Come on, dude. Just come on. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. Porzingis was that same conversation a few years ago, and the only difference is his knees don't work anymore, right? But like, they play the same level of defense. I mean, Cat scores more points than him for sure. But
both 7 foot, like they're so identical. But nobody did that. Yeah, it's not.
He's better than Porzingis. I'm not trying to really get too hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, come on now.
He's better than Porzingis.
But I will say this. I'll give you the video game stuff. Like, he's got to cut that shit out. Like, he can't be he can't be playing video games. And like I said, like I said it before on the stream. Like I gave the same energy to him in terms of like you can't be you're similar in Ben Simmons' situation. I talked about it in a stream before. It's just to me, it's like I still think that there's something there. Whereas like with Ben Simmons, I think there's a reluctancy, and then you could say the same thing about Karl Anthony Towns. Like there's a reluctancy there, but at the end of the day, offense is going to trump defense unless you're like the role player on the team. And I think Karl Anthony Towns could be the third guy. Whereas Ben Simmons,
hey,
as a role player, that might be his ceiling.
That's crazy, one. But two, more importantly, like the league, Bernie, the league is more defensive this year. It is. Like, I'd like to see how bad this could get for a whole season. I'm not saying I want it to happen. Like, defense matters more this season than it has the last 5, right?
Yeah.
Probably the last 15, like, if we're being frank. So let's see it, dude. I think this is maybe our biggest difference, all of our opinions, is where we rank defense in basketball. Like, that's why I like Ben Simmons so much.
We've seen it with the Bucks, right? Like their defense and their length, like
Yeah.
they have trees, man. Like it's hard to score on them getting to the paint because they have 7-foot guys, 6'7", 6'8" guys with long wingspan who can guard.
And
Like
really, there's only one team in NBA history that for an extended period of time was not necessarily like clamps on defense, and it was the Warriors. And even then, they were pretty close with KD and Draymond in their right, and Clay for that matter too. They were pretty close. That being said, a lot of these teams are like they're built like the Lakers title run in the bubble. That's defense. That was all defense. Let's even go back into like the early 2000s. Detroit, the Pistons championship team in 03. I mean, that team had no superstars other than defensive superstars. I know the league is different, but there's not a lot of teams that win with only offense and no defense. It doesn't happen, really.
But there's a combination, right? I mean, we could talk about the Bucks even going to that team, right? There's still that chance of they get offensive rebounds to get more chances to shoot the rock. So I mean, they're obviously doing more offensive stuff. So I mean,
like Giannis and Drew, like those dudes are all defense, all world.
I mean, they are. I'm not saying they're not. I mean, obviously those guys help. I mean, it helps when you have a guy in Drew Holiday where you don't have to switch the screen every time and he can kind of stay with his man. Like that's obviously like a huge factor as to, the Bucks. But I mean, you also have to give credit to the guys, the offensive rebound, the Brook Lopez's, the Pat Connaughtons. Like those guys get in there.
Even Drew could get rebounds.
Yeah, look at Cat though. No, I'm just kidding. Not hard. I'm not gonna get on him too. Bernie, is that really the last topic, dude? I feel like we can't end on Cat. Come on, give me one more. I think I was the one with the 7 o'clock end time.
Yeah, you got.